Hello, hello, internet land. Just waiting for folks to arrive. Anyone who's catching this on the replay, feel free to fast forward now to when questions actually start. Welcome, welcome. I see we now have one person in the chat. Yuri, hey, thanks for stopping by. I know you wanted me to plan this a little bit more in advance. Best I could do was we got 6 hours in advance this time. Last time was like half an hour or something. How's your day going? Like everyone's too excited about this new AA transfer partnership with Citi and the release of the Citi Strata Elite. And yeah, I think for those of us who are already in the game of earning lots of AA miles, we're definitely watching very closely to see what happens with the award availability with AA. I think it's generally agreed on that AA has the generally the best availability and quality and flexibility of points redemptions. I know some people think Alaska is maybe a little bit better. And I think the frequent miler, their prediction has been that AA would devalue before Alaska because Alaska is just going through this big merger and has a legal obligation not to devalue their program. Now, how many people are closely watching some of these these more niche cases of like booking, especially like I saw Michael Wong just he was posting in the discords. No, he made a video on how certain intra Asia flights were on using Alaska miles were we're seeing some higher prices, and he was focusing on how there is this fine print with their award chart that they're sort of hinting at the possibility of going dynamic. Welcome, Rodrigo. I'm not ready for American Airlines pesos, like Sky Miles pesos. Well, here's what I think is the good news. As we all know, Citi is the hardest to churn with. And so I'm hoping that American doesn't decide, at least just on that basis, to devalue its partner awards. I mean, I think we know, like all things in this game, that some sort of devaluation is coming. I mean, the idea of an award chart is an endangered species. We've seen even Hyatt with their acquisition of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Everyone's hinting more and more towards dynamic. We saw Virgin Atlantic move towards dynamic. So this is the wave of the future. And now we know AA, they kind of have their own thing. But even with their own thing, and even being pretty dynamic for their own metal, well, we know that we can still sometimes find really great value on domestic flights. Yuri is he's looking to transfer his remaining 3,500 thank you points to AA after this goes live. So I have 3 Citibank cards, and I got stuck with a second American Airlines card before they changed their product change rules. Kind of kicking myself because, um, yeah, I mean, I have the AA executive card. I have the AA Mile Up card, which I don't need. If I downgrade the executive card, most likely it would go to the Mile Up card. I don't really need the executive card because, I'm sorry, the executive. What's the mid range? The platinum card, because I plan on having One World, at least like entry level One World status for at least the next couple of years, and that comes with the benefits that the platinum card has. I like that the Mile Up gets you 2x on groceries. It's something. Um, I'd like to make a play at one of these Barclays cards before they go away. If I ever get out of Barclays 624 or whatever, I think I'm close now. I'd love to snag one of those the Barclay Aviator Red if I could. But yeah, I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but I think that we should pay close attention to award availability and see if anything changes. Um, I don't know. I'm hoping that we're small enough fish, those of us who are able to generate very large volumes of city points. Will that be enough? It wasn't enough with the Hawaiian to Alaska backdoor while that existed with Amex. I'm willing to bet people moved a lot more points to Alaska than I ever would with Citi. I moved like 300,000 at least, maybe 350 membership rewards points to to Hawaiian and then to Alaska. So, and I didn't see any devaluation with Alaska yet, but that could be because of this merger. So yeah, that's the question for you guys here so far is how do you think you'll change your strategy with earning and burning American Airlines miles? Uh, yeah, so I didn't finish that story. So, I have a custom cash, and the custom cash, you can max that out at 2,500 points per month. And as long as they combine with the Strata Elite in the same way that they combine with the Strata Premier, then yeah, then all of that can be transferred out. We have this new base card, this Strata card, and I saw someone on a different comment thread. They're going to be product changing their custom cash to the Strata card. So I wonder what their use case is, whether they're able to generate over 2,500 points. I mean, they're pretty good bonus categories. I'm going to look that up right now. This would be a good thing to go over, and we'll definitely talk about the Strata Elite. It's already a controversial card. I just watched Anthony Venture. Seems like he was the first to break it at 3:30 in the morning, but I think he had a slightly more positive take on the value proposition of that card than I do. He did make a good point. He made a good point that this hotel credit, what's a $300 hotel credit, that it's more useful than the edit credit with Chase because it's anything through their portal. But it does have a similar to Chase. It has a 2-night minimum. I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe because it's I have been focusing more on the chain hotels, and so but yeah, as long as the prices aren't inflated, that's true. Let me bring this up. I want to look at this official Strata Elite. Apologies in advance for not having a screen share set up. I'm still dialing in my streaming software. I'm just using the built-in YouTube Studio because I was trying to use whatever Sledge uses. I already forgot the name of that. I guess I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and use StreamYard, but I cannot screen share. But so here we go. So the current offer for the Citi Strata Elite, let's earn 80,000 bonus points after spending $4,000 in 3 months. And there's a $595 annual fee. Their splash screen says unlock nearly $1,500 in value, up to $300 annual hotel benefit. Each calendar year, enjoy $300 off a hotel stay of 2 nights or more when booking through citytravel.com. $200 splurge credit, which is a $200 statement credit on your choice of up to 2 of the following brands. First Dibs, which is pretty but vastly overpriced furniture retailer. American Airlines with exclusions. I'll have to jump into that. Best Buy, okay. Future Personal Training and Live Nation. All right, so I think most people that's broad enough that shouldn't be too hard to use. I don't love it, but it's better than the Saks biannual Saks credit. It's got basic priority pass. Okay. I do appreciate the 4 Admirals Club passes. Here's a couple thoughts on that, right? So I got the Citi executive card so that I could have access to Admirals Club and to the Alaska Club. Those of us who fly Alaska Metal, and have experienced the Alaska clubs, yeah, they're nice. And currently, I'd say I'm using them more than 4 times a year. So this in and of itself couldn't be a replacement, but rumor has it that the new B of A premium Alaska card that's coming next month, I guess, that's especially with what City came out with now. I think almost certainly they're going to have something. At least, I think 4 is a good way to go. Like the what the U.S. Bank Altitude Connect comes with 4 priority passes, and those include restaurants still, which is nice. But yeah, back to the Strata Elite. So okay, so we've got, what are we gonna? I'm just gonna throw my own value. The hotel benefit, it's I mean, yeah, I think we could compare it to the Venture X. It's just 300 on whatever you want. This is 2-night minimum stay. So how much am I going to discount this? I don't know. I'll call it 225. Splurge credit. I think I could count mostly to, I mean, I'm not going to ever count anything full value, but I'll call it 175. So now we're at 400. Priority pass. I don't know. I guess it's cool to have a card that has priority pass. So let's call it $50. The 4 Admirals Club passes. Yeah, I would definitely value those at least 15 a pop. I could even call them 25 a pop, but I don't know. That's pushing it. Let's call it 15. So that's 60. So what do we had? 400 plus 50 plus 60. We're at like 510. Oop, 510. What is this annual fee? 595. I don't know. See, this worked having a uh, effective. Trying to use a different term for effective annual fee, but the old Sapphire Reserve, for me, it was easier to get value out of it because it was, a proper premium travel card. And I think this is maybe trying to position itself as, I don't know, kind of filling in the gap for this reserve, for the old reserve. What do you guys think? Let's go back to some more questions here. I didn't talk about the earnings yet, but we're looking at the annual fee to start with. No additional questions yet. Okay, let's continue talking about the Strata Elite. So the Strat Elite, it has 12x points per dollar spent on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through City Travel. So that's currently the industry leader. We have, what is that, 8 on the CSR, Chase Sapphire Reserve. We got 10x, right, on the Venture X. So what do we got? And we got 6x on air travel, but that's less, right? So let's think about this, because we get 8x on Sapphire. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I love. I really don't love travel portals. I don't know if you guys heard, but I guess Built is working on this direct booking thing where when you book through their portal, it will be recognized as a direct booking through the airlines. That'll be very interesting to see. Because yeah, it's clunky. It's clunky when a third party owns your booking. It adds complexity in an already very complex situation, and it's like, how much complexity do we want to take on for slightly higher multiplier? Like, the better thing to do here, honestly, still is to use the AA hotel portal, because their bonuses are they're higher than this. And if that's your use case, yeah, I mean, as an AA enthusiast, this is game changing. But sort of my question is, would you carry this card with the AA executive card at the same time? Right. So who are you going to book AA with, for example? Well, you can get four AA miles per dollar direct using the executive card. And then this one, you know what? There's no direct multipliers. So they really, really want you to use this portal. Okay. But what are you getting there? Like if I had to use a travel portal, I probably would rather use the Capital One travel portal because they're powered by Hopper, and you get some of their features like the price drop protection, the choice of different flexible fares. They're kind of their own hybrid flexibility, which are sometimes a cheaper way to get a refundable fare than directly through the airline. I do like the 1.5x. That is interesting. That is interesting. If you really, really want to transfer out to AA, then putting spend on this instead of the Capital One Venture X might be a strategy. Because yeah, I mean, I think I would generally take 1.5x AA miles versus 2x venture miles. So yeah, I mean that's kind of my question. And the bonus is a little disappointing for an initial launch, right? Because we just saw the 100,000 point bonus with the refreshed Chase Sapphire Reserve, and they have a 48-month rule. So I don't know. I'm kind of hesitating on that. Like, I mean, here's the thing: I got another year before I'll be eligible for getting another Strata Premier bonus. When I got in 2022, it was still called the Premier. I did product change that because it was too redundant in my setup. But now I definitely want to get. I don't need to right away because I have a decent enough stash of AA miles for the moment. But I do want to get a some kind of Strata card so I can transfer out. And I guess it can't be the base Strata, right? It has to be the Premier or this new Elite card. But yeah, I mean, this one's tough. If you were really dedicated to using the portals, but again, if you're dedicated to using the portals for AA, man, I think 10x on hotels. I mean, that's the other thing too, right? You get using the city executive card, you get 10x on hotels. That's on top of the bonus you get in the portal. You don't need to have that card, but a hotel might give you 1,000 or 2,000, sometimes more bonus points. And if the rate was $200, you're getting 2,000 bonus miles plus, let's say, 2,000 base miles. So in total, 4,000 redeemable miles potentially off of 200, or let's say $300. So what's the what's the multiplier in that? Let's do a little math, right? Let's figure this out. Bring up calculator. Said 4,000 miles for 200. We'll call it 300 just for fun. So we got 300 divided by 4,000. 0.075. No, I'm doing around. That's the cents per point. We're trying to figure out multiplier, so it's reciprocal of that. So 4,000 divided by 300 is 13.3. So yeah, that edges this out. Not by a huge amount, but keep in mind you're getting loyalty points, a good amount, right? You're getting those 2,000 base miles are also giving you 2,000 loyalty points. You're also getting one loyalty point per dollar spent on the card. So those have some value. So I don't know. I mean, that's the most lucrative earning case, and it's the most valuable transfer partner for Citi. I don't know. I'm really curious who's the who's the audience for this card? Staying in a lot of choice hotels, maybe? Eva Air. I know they have some cool stuff. But yeah, I think it's definitely time to start getting into our seats.arrow um, alerts. As you know, the free version, you can search. I don't know if they do alerts on the free version, but you can search out to 3 months. But yeah, well worth it. And start, yeah, start booking stuff. That's the nice thing, right? It's always refundable. But yeah, the 1.5, I guess, is a 1.5 catch-all. If you find that I don't know, like, so I've made the case that the Venture X it's a good complement to other premium travel cards, and that's really for two main reasons. One, a good catch-all, and two, easy to get the value back. This one, I would say now with the refresh of the CSR and the impending refresh of the MX Platinum, I could see maybe considering this card instead of the Venture X. I just feel like I have a hard time justifying having this and the Venture X. And since it makes sense for most people to have a Venture X for a variety of reasons, that kind of discourages this one. Like keeping it in year two, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I would want to downgrade because yeah, the 1.5x is nice. And I don't know. I've usually been working on one sign up bonus or another the majority of the time. And so I haven't really needed to care as much about having a good catch all. I like a catch all card that gives you something other than just the points, right? So, World of Hyatt card gives you two elite nights every $5,000, gives you a category 1 through 4 free night certificate after 15,000 in a calendar year. Then you have the Hilton Surpass card, and that one gives you an uncapped free night certificate after 15,000. And you know, um, I have made the point though that it's good to make sure you bring some non-Amex cards with you when you travel abroad for obvious reasons. But this brings up a point, when I was in Japan earlier this year, I tried 2 or 3 times to use my executive card. And after confirming that, yes, it was me, and even after getting on the phone with them to unfreeze my card, it still blocked me every time. I think I gave up after the third time. And I've heard this from other people too. So, you know, if you ask me if it was me and I confirm that it's me and you're still blocking my purchases, your stuff is broken, City. So, you know, um, I don't know. I don't know if I really trust using City cards abroad now because of that. So, if this is going to be your daily driver, everyday spend, and that's cool. Is it cool enough to have a card that's pretty redundant in my setup for someone who doesn't love booking through the portals? Yeah, I don't really know. I didn't even mention the 6 nights per dollar on restaurants Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. Eastern time to 6 a.m. All right. I guess that's cool for those of us on the West Coast, because then those of us who we want to go out for an early dinner. I'm an early bird these days. That is kind of nice to have, but I don't know. 6x, I'd use it. It's intriguing. I guess that's better than the once a month with built. Just to get, you get 6x once a month with built. This gives you like 8 times a month. All right. Haven't seen any questions in a while. Quiet crowd today. So those are my initial thoughts on the Strata Elite. Obviously, the adding the transfer partnership to AA is huge news, and get ready for the flood videos. But I haven't seen that many yet really looking at the strategy of devaluation. And so I think that's really the most significant thing to come right now, other than these two new cards. Is Yeah, I mean that's huge news. And if we're lucky, we don't see any devaluation soon. But I think we've all been holding our breath for a long time now. AA hasn't made any changes to their program, or especially to their partner award charts, in several years. Frequent miler for that reason. They've been predicting a devaluation, for that reason, sooner rather than later, or certainly like sooner than Alaska. It kind of depends on what you're looking for. Like you can find Japan Airlines in business class from the West Coast somewhat frequently. I mean, they go quick, but you know, um, for 60,000 miles, whereas that same award booked through Alaska would be 75,000. And so that would be tough. It would be tough for me to use Alaska points in that way when I could use the 60K. I'd rather spend 60K than 75K. And, I found some availability with Starlux for next year. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to be flying back from Taipei, Taiwan with 75K. And might be connecting there through Vancouver. That's what I found so far. I found something on China Airlines nonstop from Vancouver, and that's only a couple hours from SFO. Nick, welcome. Nick's got some dad duties here to drop in and comment. I'll catch the replay tomorrow. Looking forward to AA becoming competitive. Now the CSR is the only premium card that doesn't give lounge access to their domestic airline partner. Interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah. Um, huh, yeah. Well, except for Alaska, but hopefully that'll change soon, right? Yuri's asking, you recently got denied for the Advantage Plat with the 80K sub. Any experience with City Recon? None that are successful so far. Yeah, I feel like the recon game in general it's been tougher. I don't hear as many success stories with any of the issuers now. We know Chase is really when they've dug their heels in. I don't see a lot. Or the only things I usually see overturned are when it's like a security or identification validation kind of thing. But Yeah, I mean, obviously try it, but you know, the trick that used to work with Chase, at least on the business cards, is moving credit limit around. But Anthony Venture can sweet talk the recon line. Yeah, he's a charming one. Yeah, I wonder how much leeway. I mean, that's really the question. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the trouble with City. You know, they seem to be very inquiry sensitive, so that's not good for churners and high velocity folks like ourselves. And yeah, I know Barclays has been militant for me on their 624 or whatever they use, and you know, and now all the talk is on whether or not Chase is actually doing away with 524. They haven't for me yet. Um, I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen really definitive a definitive connection between Chase rolling out this new language on the pop up jail, their own version of it. Um, I don't know. I mean, I didn't. I tried for the CSR Biz, and there was no pop up. It just went into review, and then I got denied. So you know, now that's not a good enough card that I would have opened it without a sub. There's not that many that I would, but if I were, I would rather it be a business card, but it's unfortunate that not as many biz cards for us hobbyists are keepers. But I do want to get some chase cards. I'd like, despite all of these crazy changes with Southwest, I would like to get the Southwest Companion Pass. That's all chase. I want to get the Chase Aeroplan card. I want to get another Chase IHG card. I have the business card, and now I want to get the personal card. So I do want to garden, but I'm yeah. So instead of December, that's probably going to push into January, maybe February. I gotta look at that again when I'll be out of 524. But I do want to get two more cards. One of them almost certainly is going to be this new Alaska Premium card, which I am excited about. And yeah, I'd like to snag this Barclays Aviator Red card before that goes away. But yeah, the city. I mean, that's a great sub. Wow, 80,000 miles on the plat card. Yeah, that's solid, and no family language with them yet. So yeah, if you're not looking at the executive card and you don't want to open too many personal cards, you could open the city Advantage Platinum card, and then downgrade. You know, if you're not checking that many bags, then you just need to have an AA card. Any card will unlock, kind of like with United, right? Even the no annual fee United Airlines Gateway card opens up expanded Saver Award availability, certain special fares that you only will see if you have any kind of United card. So, similarly with AA, you have access to elevated earnings on the hotels portal and the rental car portal, which I used once. It's usually not better than doing it direct, but hotels I've used a good amount, and you just need any card. But yeah, the having some kind of I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen more discussion yet on the airline partner lounges. Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I'm very curious. I mean, I'm happy for all these new premium bank branded lounges that have, great food and other things. But I mean, let's face it, they're crowded and they're not always convenient. And more than anything else for me, the priority is convenient and quiet. Having nice food is a plus, and the airline lounges do that better still. Yuri is saying that he doesn't fly AA enough. He flies mostly Delta and international carriers. The only no sub card that he would stomach is product changing the Ritz this January to complement the Capital One Venture X. You mean product changing to the Ritz card from like the Boundless? I'm going to be doing that soon. And I've had a little bit of mixed feelings on that, but yeah, next month my 35K anniversary free night is going to post on my Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card. And then I'm going to most likely product change to the Ritz and kind of test that out. Part of the value proposition of the Ritz card is that it has similar travel protections and lounge access to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And um, being someone who's been Team Hyatt, I've appreciated having the CSR. It has helped drive my points earnings on ultimate rewards with Chase. But yeah, I don't know, with these refresh changes, I'm gonna have a real hard time keeping that CSR in year two. So maybe I would appreciate having that Ritz card. I don't love earning Bonvoy points, but at least you can top off their free night certs by 15K each year. So let's take a quick look at the new Citi Strata card. Okay, Citi Strata right now has 30,000 bonus points after spending $1,000 in the first 3 months. That's pretty good. That's very good for. I mean, that might actually be the highest that I've seen. Although, did we ever see a $300 sub on the Capital One Saver card? But yeah, that is interesting. I don't think I would burn a 524 spot for that. I feel like I'd be more likely to product change to that card from a different city card. And to the point, yeah, there's some pretty good multipliers here. I do think, Anthony Venture thought this could be an Amex Gold killer. And that's because it has 3x on supermarkets, which is great. And it has 2x on restaurants. I'm not excited about that. That's disappointing when every card and their grandma gets you 3x on restaurants now. Even the Built card. Built does not transfer to AA though. That's true. So 3x in supermarkets, 3x on select transit, and at gas and EV charging. Okay, so they're trying to be like a Strata Premier Light. What I don't love at first glance is that it is really redundant. I kind of wish they had done something like the green and gold. I know people talk about the Amex trifecta as being what, like the platinum gold and the blue business plus. But if you didn't have another travel card and you wanted a general catch all, yeah, I could see having the green. So, you know, uh the I mean, the green does come with that clear credit, and that is worth something to me. I would never pay face value for it, but it does have some benefit. 5x on travel portal, don't care. 1x on everything else. The 2x on restaurant. 3x on eligible self-select category of your choice. Okay, now that's intriguing. What do we got? Fitness clubs, select streaming, live entertainment, cosmetic stores, barber shops and hair salons, and pet supply stores. So if you have a fancy gym, that could add up. Streaming, maybe. Live entertainment, if you do that like a lot. But how much? I mean, how much are you spending on live entertainment per year? Is that really going to move the needle? Then you got to track that. I mean, I don't know. These I'm not as excited about. Like, I know this is maybe this is competing with the Attune. I heard Anthony mention the Wells Fargo Attune card. Um, if you're that organized that you can track all those extra categories, then you're probably organized to do at least a little bit of light churning. Um, that's kind of my take on it. Like I'm trying to refine a little bit. Like I'm trying to make my setup a little bit simpler as far as what cards do I keep open. And so this is one self-select category. All right, that's something. I guess I like the streaming because that's just set it and forget it for a monthly subscription. So maybe that's not something you have to really like track as much. I don't want to be stuck in stores and like going through all my cards and just having to pull out a spreadsheet every time I buy something. I mean, I'm kind of doing that a little bit, but only really with bigger purchases. I don't want to have to do that when I'm out and about. So, and then you've got the 0% for 15 months. That's cool. That's pretty typical of a card like this. 0% on purchases and balance transfers. Not bad. And redeem your points. Points transfer. Okay. So this has the transfer to JetBlue and Choice and Wyndham probably at a terrible ratio. I think I want to hear from the early adopters, like how well do all of these points pool together? I know we were able to do it before, but it always seemed like maybe a tiny bit clunky. I think who does it the best is Amex. It just goes all into one big pool automatically. But that would be, yeah, that would be my question. But I don't know. I can't figure out the use case for this card yet. Maybe as an escape hatch. But for me, it would come down to whether or not I would get this or another custom cache. And you know, 500 a month on the custom cache at 5x is 2,500 points. So 3x we got to put on over 800 a month. So can we spend 800 a month on these 3x categories on this card? Maybe in supermarkets. Okay, supermarkets and gas and transit. And I can't see doing the restaurant for 2x. I just can't in good conscience when I can do 3x on built or 3x on a saver. I'm assuming one of the Wells Fargo. I don't know the earning structure as much on the Wells Fargo cards. Chad's Money Minutes. Oh, hey, Chad went live at the same time. Yeah, I got to plan these out a little bit more. I did post in the Discord. I was saying, hey, anyone else doing a live today? World traveler, welcome. What is your dream redemption with Advantage miles? You know, what would be amazing is to fly first class with Japan Airlines. I flew a round trip with them last year in business class, and it was on their A787. No, not A. It's on their Boeing 787, which was their 222 configuration, and that was really good. I would not call that a dream redemption. I mean, I think some people have. I mean, yeah, I mean, dream like I'd love to fly all the craziest products, but some of those are too expensive and are too hard to get relative to what I think is worth it. So for me, I'll call dream something that actually feels like something I could like reasonably do. So we'll also exclude La Premiere with Air France because I think now you need to have platinum status with Air France just to fly them. And I've heard isn't Emirates doing that now? But yeah, I would love to fly Qatar Q Suites, and I want to fly ANA's The Room. Always talking about that one. Have not flown with them yet, and it seems like you really, yeah, you need to be very aggressive with searching for that one. Quick, flexible, and aggressive, and yeah, and like last minute. Lufthansa first class comes to mind. They're the ultimate like only you can only do it like super last minute. Um, but yeah, I appreciated like the quality of service with Japan Airlines was so great, and I'm curious to see how much more elevated the first class is over business class. But yeah, I know Michael Wong. He's flown on the A350s, and even their business class is I've heard is an amazing product with Japan Airlines. So anything to Asia right now just seems like a lot like some of the best products. I mean, I know the Middle East. I haven't been looking to really travel there as much. Um, you never hear about Africa too much, but I do want to go to South America. That is on my radar at some point. Maybe not for next year. You don't hear as much about some of those products. I'm gonna have to dig into that. Yeah, I wonder why we don't hear as much. I mean, so yeah, let's wrap up on the Strata stuff. So in summary, now we've got three Strata cards. We have the existing Strata Premier card. Let's just let's cover that really quickly so we can compare it. So the City Strata Premier, I'm not seeing their bonus on their landing page. That's funny. Okay. Nope, there it is. All right. So it's 60,000 points for 4,000 the first 3 months. Pretty standard. I think it's been higher. 10x through the portal on hotels, car rentals, and attractions. We've got 3x per dollar on air travel and hotels. So right now that's stronger than the Strata Elite. 3x on restaurants, which is except for Friday, Saturday, the same as the Strata Elite. 3x on supermarkets, which is also the base Strata has. 3x on gas and EV charging, same as the Strata, and 1x everything else. Yeah, so this card, so how do you get back that $95? Well, you've got the $100 annual hotel benefit. Every calendar year, you get $100 off of a single hotel stay of $500 or more booked through City Travel. Let's think about this for a second. Okay, so it's 100, and you're probably going to spend that much on the Strata Elite for the 2 nights, right? So that gives you 300. It's kind of interesting, right? Because I think the size of this benefit relative to the fee is arguably better on this versus the Strata Elite. The 300, it is nice that it's a single stay. At least it's not split up into two chunks. But on the other hand, the two chunks with City are 250 each, even though it's limited to their super overpriced hotels in the edit. Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's interesting because the consensus on this benefit, the $100 benefit, is that it's really not been that great. But it's funny how all of a sudden, if we call that a $300 benefit on spending, what's going to amount to probably 500 or more for a typical hotel these days, to get 300, and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's great." Sure. I mean, it's great in the sense that it's relative, like it's not any harder to use than this one, but you're kind of forced to. You're kind of forced to, right? Because you have to recoup that $600 fee, and this one only has a $100 annual fee, and it has pretty similar earning categories. When like even their top earner is only down from 12 to 10x. Um, you still get pretty broad earning cards, so I think this is a better card for most people. And I'm not as excited about having a priority pass card just because there's priority passes in the US aren't that great. And when traveling abroad, I don't travel abroad on economy often enough that I'm not, like I'm usually going to be on business. That's going to include lounge access. So I really need lounge access for domestic airports. And so I care more about the partner lounge access. Now, granted, having that four, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're really an AA enthusiast, like why not just pick the AA executive card? I don't see, like, if you have that, why not just get the premier? Like, why would you get the Strata Elite card if you have the executive card? Unless you're just a super high roller and want to go all in on just AA, but fine. But I don't know. I mean, isn't part of the value is having transferable points? And if that's the case, then yeah, uh, I don't know. Like, I would almost focus more on a multi-card, multi-bank strategy. Yeah, I am looking forward to diving into some other reviews on YouTube. Seems like quite a few came out already in these last 24 hours. And but yeah, at first glance, I think it's a smaller sub than it could be, and I think it feels a little redundant with the Premiere. And if you want to have a card for putting a lot of portal spend on, I think you have better choices with either the A executive card, arguably with the Venture X card. So yeah, well, I think we might close up pretty soon. I think maybe we'll do a little bit of a shorter live today, but just wanted to get the discussion going on this pretty big news and credit card land, it's definitely been an eventful year. A lot of refreshes, a lot of new products. Uh, I'm still holding out for this Alaska card and Barclays Aviator Red card. Someday I'll get out of Chase 524 if that even still matters, but as of now, that still seems to matter for me. I'm going to be following the data points on that very closely. I think there is a lot of good speculation that Chase is moving away from 524 by using the Amex's pop-up jail methodology. Would that be a good trade-off? I mean, probably. Yeah, because I mean, other than Barclays, I don't think anyone else has such a strict limit on the number of new accounts. But certainly Citibank, we all know they've been very inquiry sensitive. So anyone who has the velocity that we have, who are enthusiasts in this, you know, we might not have to garden for 24 months in a row, but we almost certainly would have to garden in terms of even applying for anything for certainly at least 3 months, I think is what I've heard to be safe, probably six. But yeah, it's been a while since I've applied for a Citi card, but I opened the executive card last year and I don't remember if it had been 3 or 6 since my last inquiry, but I do remember very distinctly being denied due to too many inquiries. So I'm gonna have to look that up again, read some articles, and see like what is the current consensus on the inquiry rule with Citi. But yeah, happy hunting. At least you can product change it, unlike between their co-branded cards. Now I'm still stuck with that second AA card. Really wish I had changed that into a second custom cash, because then, yeah, honestly, I might product change one of those to just a Premier, because then I could transfer to AA. Yeah, Yuri agrees. Some good things happened this year. Alaska, JetBlue United partnership, bad. The nerfs all around. Yeah, I'd say the nerfs to me seem kind of on par. I don't know if we've seen a faster pace of nerfs this year than last year. If anything, I feel like the nerfs last year seemed more noticeable. You know, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there was Virgin Atlantic, and that was kind of a mixed bag. But now they've doubled their taxes and fees recently, so they've kind of completed their nerf, as it were, at least flying in their metal, which is disappointing. I'm going to have a chance to try them out pretty soon. I am looking forward to that. And yeah, Hyatt continues to move a lot of things out of category 4, just out of reach. So, the good news is that we keep seeing, I mean, Frequent Miler, their main podcast this week on Friday, they talked about 3 new transferable points platforms that are emerging. The Mesa Mortgage. We had another one that I haven't even looked at yet. I can't remember the name of it. Um, so yeah, I think between that and Built, we're all kind of cautiously watching Built to see what happens with their Built 2.0. But I think that it's a very interesting ecosystem. It's cool that they added that Japan Airlines partnership. I mean, that is intriguing. I do wonder if there might be certain cases where you'd have an easier time finding a specific award that you're looking for, even though Japan Airlines seem to be more dynamically priced using their own miles. So, all in all, things are getting more complicated. I think that's the one thing we can all agree on. The game is getting more complicated, more couponified. The cat and mouse game persists. Some of these transfer partnership award charts. Well, no, that's not transfer. So the airline alliances and their award charts. Some of them are still hanging on. You know, hopefully we don't lose all of them and everything goes fully dynamic. That would be pretty sad. So as long as we still have those and good award search tools, I mean, that's one thing that's definitely we've seen the rise of award searching has really taken off and has gotten much more accessible. So yeah, we'll call it a day. We'll call it call it an evening. Hope your Sunday is going great out there. And for those of you who are watching this in the replay, thanks for sticking around. And oh, shout out to Michael Wong. I was name dropping you this whole time, so catch the replay. I was just talking about that. Yeah, a lot to watch for. A lot of news on the AA front and city front for sure. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, so those watching on the replay, thanks for sticking around. Hope you got to fast forward through that the silence at the beginning. It's just waiting for everything to come together. And yeah, let's all take care of each other. Ciao.